Okay, so today I'm going to be conducting a disease test on my dairy cow. Let's go. Okay, so today I'm going to be conducting a disease test, doing a blood draw on my dairy cow, specifically testing for BLV. Now, there are a few different diseases that we should be concerned about when we're consuming raw dairy products. There's actually a lot of things we need to be concerned about when we're consuming raw dairy products. You can get a lot of foodborne illnesses from raw dairy. However, the vast majority of these can be mitigated to the point of not really being a concern at all through proper hygienic processes and steps during the milking process. But there are a few of them that aren't. In particular, Bucharellus, however you pronounce it. I'm horrible with words and readings and all type of that stuff. And tuberculosis are two of the other predominant diseases. However, I'm not too worried about either of those, and I'm not going to be testing for those. They used to be of a really large concern. However, nowadays you have the Bucharellus or Bucellus, or whatever it is, vaccine that the vast majority of cattle get, and for interstate sales is necessary to actually sell those unless it's for slaughter purposes. You have states that are certified free from that disease, as well as tuberculosis. You have a lot of states that are TB certified free. And I live in a certified free state for both of those diseases, and where the state that I bought the cow from is also certified free from those diseases. So I'm not as worried about those diseases. Another one that's kind of out on the case is John's disease. John's disease is more important specifically for the dairy herd or your herds, because once you get it, you can never really get rid of it, and it's going to end up killing all of your flock or your herds. And there is some very few studies that say it could possibly be related to Crohn's disease. Sorry, my ram's sitting right here scratching his head on my butt, so I'm just keeping a hand on him to make sure he doesn't try and rear and ram me as I'm sitting here talking to y'all. But the vast majority of doctors and scientists and people say that there is really no connection or correlation between John's disease and Crohn's disease. So I don't really care about that one either. But the main one that I am testing for is BLV. Now, why do I care about BLV? Well, there's a few reasons. One, there's one study I read that claimed, or essentially what they did was they sifted through 130 something different studies and databases, and of all those they came out with 33 that kind of met their criteria for being good, sound scientific documents. And they extrapolated from that about 27% of the population has BLV proteins or antibodies in their system. So humans, 27% of humans have BLV antibodies in their systems. Okay, well, where does that come from? Well, it comes from dairy animals. Then you look at other studies, and about mid to high 80% of all dairy herds in the United States have BLV. 100% of all large-scale dairies have BLV. So you take these two studies and you kind of combine them together, and in the United States where I live, it is incredibly pervasive in the dairy herds and the dairy cows. And then somehow it is getting into humans. How that is, no one really knows. But the big thing here is there's not a whole lot, if any, studies done on BLV, how they're transmitted to humans, and what the consequences of the BLV virus being in humans is. So there's a lot of unknowns in my book, and since I am drinking the milk raw, there's a lot of evidence that says pasteurization, freezing, and formaldehyde will inactivate the BLV virus. However, I do it via, get away from there. I'm gonna have to sterilize this now or get a new needle. I dropped it. There is evidence that says pasteurization, freezing, formaldehydes will inactivate the BLV virus. However, I drink the milk raw. My family drinks the milk raw. And given the unknowns with this disease, I want to know if my animal actually has it or not. So today, I'm going to be testing for it. I'm going to go get her in the headlock, and we're going to do a blood draw on a cow. Daisy, come on. No, get away, you vultures. I want the cows, not you vultures. Come on, Daisy. Come on. Good. Okay, let's get her in the headlock here. Alright, yeah, I know, it's been a hot minute, girl. Okay, so I'm going to be taking the tail head here, and then I'm going to be going about 6 inches up, right in the middle of the tail head. You can kind of see that little groove there. And I'm going to be inserting my needle into that vein. There's a vein running right through the tail head on the underside of the tail, right down the middle of it. I'm going to take the cap of my needle off, which I did get a new one because my other one fell in the poop, so I want to be sanitary. We're going to clean it with some alcohol. We're going to insert the needle about 1/4 inch into it, and then we're going to pop the vial in and get about 4 cc's. Okay, so first, got the animal in my headlock. Got my vial and my tube set up. I'm going to set that in my pocket real quick, and I'm going to be disinfecting the tail head so that way I don't get any infection or any bacteria into the tail head when I do it. All right, I'm going to have my lovely assistant here push my cow up against the wall because she is going to be a pain in the butt when I go to insert it. So I'm going to take the tail head, I'm going to find the vertebrae about 4 to 6 inches up, and I'm going to want to go in between two of the vertebrae. We'll see if we can get this. Okay. So, through teamwork and coordination, we were able to get the vial of blood. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to send it off to the lab and wait for the results. Well, the results are in, and she is negative. So, here's to a glass of delicious raw milk. Hope you like, subscribe, and stick around for more content.